welcome back to the Warwick F1 show. That was Dua Lipa with Training Season, her new song that came out on Friday. And today on the Warwick F1 show, we are going to be discussing, I think, a preview for the 2024 season. We've done the winter break. It's been, it hasn't even felt that long. I mean,
it's been too quick.
I know, it's kind of a bit disturbing.
It's been a particularly long one by F1 standards because the season's starting pretty early.
No.
2nd of March.
But it still felt quick.
Because it ended earlier than normal.
Yeah.
Well, you also have a very early start to the season this year.
It's a very long season. It's like 9 months.
We're gonna be here for a while, but no, it hasn't felt long. But we are back. This is the final week. Oh, it's not even the final week. These are the final few days before we get some F1
tomorrow
action on the track. What's tomorrow?
Testing.
Is it tomorrow?
Yes.
I thought it was over the weekend.
Yes,
it's midweek.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's final day without any F1 action as we're recording this. Are you looking forward to it? I'm looking forward to it. I think I'm a bit apprehensive about certain teams and how good they could be. But I think it's always worth kind of waiting and seeing. And I'm just looking forward to seeing the cars on the track.
I'm really excited to see. It's going to sound really weird. I want to see how Haas do this year without Gunter Steiner. I want to know if it was the right choice. I want to see how Williams do in the second year of James Vowles. And I want to see...
What do you mean, the second year of Logan Sargent? That's far more important.
Yeah. And obviously as a Ferrari fan, I want to see how they've changed under Fred hopefully for the good. Because if we look back at last year, a lot of the bad things did work their way out. The strategies got clearer and clearer throughout the season. Yeah, there are a few ones where the drivers kind of made their decisions, but ultimately can't do much about that. But then the only one that was an issue was the Abu Dhabi science strategy, but we won't talk about that.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm looking forward to seeing kind of how Mercedes do. Obviously, all the news that came out over the last few weeks, Lewis Hamilton moving to Ferrari, it doesn't paint an optimistic picture, but they seem quietly confident in their car, switching away from the traditional Q&A style of car announcement, keeping their cards very close to their chest, and seeing, Lewis Hamilton's final season in the Mercedes car, seeing how that goes and how that potentially could pan out for him. See if he gets one final win in the Brackley outfit before obviously he moves down to Italy and Maranello. It's hard to say.
Ariello.
Chinmay, what are you looking forward to the most, do you think, so far?
Right now, just waiting for the cars to get on track. I just want to see the cars on the track and just see what the pecking order might be. Is Ferrari going to catch up? Does McLaren really have an ace up their sleeve? Because they seem to be the team who are hiding the most right now. Is Red Bull literally just going to make everyone fall off their seats laughing because they're with a car that goes 2 seconds quicker, despite literally changing the car into almost WD-14? But obviously seeing the dynamics of Mercedes and Lewis's last season at the team, there's a lot to look forward for this season, especially as we are now reaching sort of the latter stages of these new regs. Yeah,
and I think that's a very good. Well, it's a good point, and we got to remember with testing, if your team is doing well, they're sandbagging. If they're doing badly, they're also sandbagging, and the people on Twitter know more than the engineers that have designed the cars.
Yes.
This is how it works.
The only thing that is a bad indicator is if your car is not running.
Yeah. If it's not going, that's bad.
Yeah, which isn't...
Times from testing notoriously unreliable.
I would... Unless you're winning, in which case they're exceptionally accurate.
Yes. And then the only other thing is Williams are the only team that haven't unveiled their car yet. Like the actual 2024 car. They've unveiled the livery, similar like McLaren did.
They're doing like a Brawn GP back in 2009. You're just going to rock up and be like 2.5 seconds.
Well, we can hope that'd be amazing. Alex Albon gets a win in a Williams, outdoing what George Russell ever could.
Well, we're not backing Logan Sargent for a Grand Slam victory at Bahrain.
No.
I wonder what odds you'd get on that.
Probably millions to one.
Right, today, so we've discussed all that, but we're going to talk just general season preview. We'll run through the liveries as well, and kind of discuss what we think about them, and the cars with our limited knowledge of how F1 cars are designed and how they work. We will try and judge whether we think they'll go quickly or not. This is the next level analysis that you're an engineering student, so Will, you should be able to.
Yeah, and Chinmay.
Oh,
yeah.
Chinmay is also. Are you an engine? Don't know why I didn't think that. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I've been sort of this. Well, until Biddles came here, I was the STEM correspondent.
All right, so we now have 2 STEM correspondents to give us expert analysis of which cars will go quickly or not. Sorry
Please don't
about
put us on that.
Right, so let's dive into it. So, I mean, the calendar. It's not very different from last year, but there are a few changes. I mean, the return of China.
Yep.
I mean, we discussed it on our kind of track review show. I'm not that fussed it's back. Like, it's a good track, but if you gave me an option to put a track on the calendar, China wouldn't be the one I'd go for.
No, it's not the one I'd go for, but we tend to get good races, especially at the front, funnily enough. There's always some race for the lead, or like the podium races or something entertaining. Even when there was that Mercedes dominance, you kind of had that pit stop strategy or something. And it is, I think, quite hard on the tyres, so you do get these extra stopping races.
It has produced good races. Also, there's a chance it might be closer as well. It's very bumpy, and Red Bull struggled over the bumps last year. Yeah. Of course, like we saw in Monaco and Singapore and Austin, it's an extremely bumpy circuit, Shanghai. The only thing is the Red Bull is very different, so we don't know this year. So we don't know if it'll still have that same weakness. But if it does, we might get a closer race. Obviously, the long straight will probably out Red Bull, but...
Yeah. I mean, one thing that does come to mind is probably, I think, was it by the hairpin after the back straight. I think it was at one point Verstappen bumped it. I think, was it Vettel?
He just torpedoed it.
Yeah, that was when Verstappen was in his chaos arc.
Yeah, that first year. Yeah, the first half of 2018 was quite a chaotic time for him.
Yeah. I mean, it's the 5th race of the season, so early enough that you'd anticipate that if the teams were close together, then there could be some competition. And I do agree that China is one that does tend to throw up competition. I just think, personally, there will be better options for me. Like Malaysia, which actually is rumoured.
Yeah, rumoured to 2026. Big Petronas backing. Which
I think Turkey as well is also pushing for it.
I'm less fussed about that. The 2 races we have been great, but it's been entirely because of when they were in the year.
Yeah, so keep Turkey in October.
Races.
Yeah.
I mean, keep Turkey in October.
What do you get rid of, though? Baku, maybe?
Miami.
Miami.
And Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, but then you have all the calendar shuffling.
I don't see Miami lasting in the long term. The growth in the US is not sustainable, having 3 races in the US. And Miami's going to be the one to go. Austin's the established light one. Vegas is now the glitz and glamour one. Miami's going to be the one to go. It's a race around the car park.
I think
don't see it lasting many years.
I think Miami would be replaced rather than them.
I think there'd be another American one.
Yeah.
I think it's a big enough continent.
They've registered the trademark for a Chicago Grand Prix. That doesn't necessarily mean it's going to come to anything. They registered the trademark for New York Grand Prix, and that never came to anything. But
I mean, I'd rather, just from the vibes that Chicago has over kind of Miami, I think, and I read a report that they had said that they wanted to focus on the racing, so build like a European style circuit. I'd imagine Chicago would be similar to what Madrid is going to end up.
I think Madrid will be okay.
Yeah,
but time will tell.
Yeah, and I mean the other big change to the calendar as well is Japan has moved from October to April. Is now the 4th race of the season. I think this has been a push for some time, F1 trying to move it away from typhoon season, which has caused a number of qualifyings to be postponed to the Sunday. People doing overnighters in 2019.
Yeah.
That does, it puts it next to China, so obviously there are those benefits with less travel as well. And Japan Japan used to. I think it used to be.
It used to
at
be
the start of
early.
the season.
Yeah, it used to be like the third race of the year.
But then it was also the last race of the season before that.
Yeah, it used to like alternate back and
Mm.
because it used
Yeah,
to be
that-
like after Brazil.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it used to be at a lot of time at Fuji as well. It used to be the end of the
Something
season.
like 1 in every
At
3 or
times.
4 Japanese Grand Prix actually decided the World Championship.
Yeah.
World Championship's been won at.
I think Damon Hill won the championship.
Right,
but
something like 13 championships or something
Japan.
been won in Japan.
Senna and Prost twice.
76,
Yeah.
Hunter,
And both through collisions.
Lauda, 76 of course.
Yeah.
Fuji, the only-
Fuji Speedway.
See the 2 Senna Prost collisions.
I think Vettel even might have won a
2011.
title at
Yeah, 2011.
Japan, and obviously Verstappen.
Verstappen.
In the most
last
anticlimactic championship crowning of all time.
Yeah. Has he? I guess, yeah.
I
it
mean,
was so random, but
but no, I think Japan in April could be.
it
a
makes
fun
more
one.
sense.
It does make more
It
sense.
did confuse me because we'll talk about cars later, but there was like the reports about Red Bull having their potential development coming in Japan. I'm like, they're planning quite far in the future, and then I realised, oh wait, it's 4 races in. So,
Yeah, but I mean, the Japanese Grand Prix, I will admit it, it is not one I've traditionally watched, just because it has always been so early in the morning. I know, you're giving me a disapproving
I'll
look,
watch
and
the
you are right.
replay of it later, but to be honest, it's not a track which has produced a good race for many years.
I don't know. I'd say 2022, sorry, was quite a good
Yeah,
race.
22 was a good race.
It just took 3 hours to get started.
Yeah.
Rain.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
I
everything
did. I
else
did.
felt
I
like
did
it was
miss
still
that race
good.
because I did fall back asleep. I didn't fall asleep.
Well, I was going to London, so I was like, I'll wake up anyway, so I've got to be up for it. So
Fair
I
enough.
had it on the radio by the time I left.
Yeah. I might be wrong, but according to this, the Australian Grand Prix might be at 5 a.m.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
I
That's
saw
so-
4 a.m.
Yeah, but there'll be
Isn't
F3
it-
at 12 p.m. Or
Chi-
12 a.m., sorry.
The,
Well, I'm
Chi-
just gonna
the
pull an all-nighter.
sprint in China's going to be at 4 a.m. as well.
Oh.
We've got a
it's now Saturday
triple.
morning.
We've got a triple header where I've got to get up early.
Is it true? I don't think it is. I think
No,
they got
it's
rid
not
of all
a
the triple headers,
but
didn't
it's
they?
like 3 races in a
Well,
row.
that's one thing. Didn't they get rid of all the triple headers?
No, I
this
think
year?
there's some later
There's
in the
one at the
season.
end of the year, I think.
Yeah.
Which is the most silly one to have kept.
Yeah.
Because
I'm-
like, what, Mexico, Cota and Brazil.
Yeah.
And 2 of them are sprints.
Oh, it's ridiculous. The calendar towards the end of the year.
Yeah, they've chucked all the sprints. Or China's a sprint race, which we forgot to mention. Which I think that,
That could be good fun.
yeah, for a sprint
They get
weekend,
the odd bit
that
of weather as well.
Yeah.
So you could have a bit of rain on Friday or something.
Yeah. Outside of that, the Belgian Grand Prix is still before the summer break, so it
Disgusting.
kind of sucks. Azerbaijan
Swapped.
has moved,
Yeah.
basically swapped with Japan, has moved to September.
Yeah.
Anyone know the weather in Baku in September?
No.
Hopefully it's more interesting than what we have at the moment.
Yep. I mean, that one makes complete sense to me because you're going Italy to Azerbaijan to Singapore, which is
Yeah.
basically
to
a straight.
then what?
Yeah.
States? It's continents.
Yeah. Which is,
Yeah, it breaks up.
I feel like Singapore.
If you're gonna have if you're gonna have a world calendar, you're gonna have some long haul flights.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, it's just gonna kind of be how it works. But then, yeah, Singapore, US, Mexico, Brazil. They have moved. Did they have Vegas before Qatar last year? Or was it the other way
Well,
around?
Qatar was where Baku was roughly. Qatar broke up the trip.
Yes.
Yeah,
No, you're right.
Qatar's now the penultimate race, isn't it?
They got Vegas, Qatar, and
It should
Abu
be a
Dhabi.
bit cooler, hopefully.
Yeah.
And hopefully they'll sort out the tyre issues.
I quite like the tyre issues though.
Yeah.
made it more fun, right?
I like the issues. I don't like the rules.
threat. Yeah.
But come in. I mean, season ends on the 8th of December with
Late.
the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix.
I think they should just put like some stupid rule in Abu Dhabi, so you have to pit every 10 laps just to make it interesting.
That was 2014, to be fair.
Yeah.
With the double points.
How have they got left with the most drab circuit on the calendar as the season finale every
Don't
single
get
year?
me started.
Yeah. They made the changes they made it worse.
Yeah, that's the
I think
worst.
they made it slightly better.
the first one.
The first
change made it
hairpin,
better.
yes, but everything else. They've added random bits of camber. They ultimately caused 2021.
Yeah,
We just spoke about that last week. We can't bring it up again.
But
yeah, they did.
yeah,
Yeah.
But for
that
start, they made
camber.
the race. They made the race 3 laps longer. If they went 3 laps,
I don't have an
more-
issue with that.
If they went 3 laps more though, they wouldn't have.
We can't do this again. We did it last week.
We could have had we wouldn't have been able to restart after the safety car.
Ah, well.
3 laps less.
If you want to hear about our opinions on 2021, make sure to check out our 2021 review 3 years on.
Yeah, our nice little debate we had last
Yeah,
week.
it was good. I enjoyed it.
It was good fun.
Yeah, we disagreed on.
It was less heated than I thought it would be.
Well, I feel like we generally agree on
Most of it.
It's mostly just probably Silverstone and
Monza.
Monza. And
Abu Dhabi, I think we all agreed on.
Yeah. And we just disagreed on kind of the thing.
The final outcome.
And Saudi Arabia,
There you go.
which has been popping up on my Twitter timeline, so my phone might be listening to me.
Oh dear.
Oh well. This is also, I think, is this the first season ever in which the driver lineup that ended the season is the same one that starts this season?
Yes.
Must be.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is. Yeah.
It's not the same one that started last season because of
Nick de
AlphaTauri
Vries.
or RB or whatever they're called
Yes.
now.
Yes.
Cash out. V-carb.
V-Carb.
I don't care because of the livery. I'm calling him Toro Rosso.
It's a good livery. We'll come on to that later. But
Toro
yeah,
Rosso.
all 20 drivers that
Survived.
started in Abu Dhabi are starting in Bahrain in before someone breaks something. Isn't Charles Leclerc in Uzbekistan or something?
I don't know.
Skiing.
Probably. He's probably going to have a Michael Schumacher-esque accident.
Hopefully not.
Hopefully not. That would be
hopefully
really
not
bad.
that bad.
But it would sum up Ferrari, I think, for that to happen. Really optimistic going into the season. Oh, wait.
yeah,
We've got rid of the other driver as well.
yeah. But 2024, all stable seemingly so far.
For now.
For now. Then we'll see what happens. But 2025 is very
Yes.
up in the air in terms of where drivers and teams are going to end up. I mean, well, obviously you've got Hamilton to Ferrari, which is, I guess, kind of the catalyst for all of this situation. But I mean, what narratives do you think kind of play out over the next kind of 9 months or so? 10 months? What month are we
All
in?
the 9.
February.
All the 9
It's
months long this season.
It'll be 9 months by the time the race
9 months of the
gets
week.
on. Over 9 months.
Yeah. We'll say
Long
10.
time.
We'll say
Yeah.
10.
Long.
But what narrative? So we've obviously got Hamilton. Hamilton to Ferrari is set in stone, but that's about the only.
There's
Certainty at the
4
moment.
big openings. Not
Mm.
big openings, but 4 potential openings that I think will definitely come about. You've got the Red Bull seat. I don't think Checo stays.
I don't either.
No.
You've got the Mercedes seat. I think both Haas seats could be available,
Mhm.
specifically Kevin Magnussen's. And I think one, if not both, of the V-carb seats. Plus Sauber even. So that's
Yeah,
5.
I think one of the Sauber.
If not
seats.
both, yeah.
If I'd be certain on 1, 2 is possible. Even one of the Williams seats, if Logan
Yeah.
Sargent continues to, I guess, underperform.
Aston Martin, if Alonso were to retire or go to Mercedes.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you've got that kind of catalyst. So if Ocon leaves Alpine, there's a seat there. Or it's kind of whoever goes into the Mercedes. But then
Yeah.
you've also got Kimi Antonelli, who's supposedly the favourite to go in there.
Yeah. I mean, we discussed kind of our ideas on who would go into that Mercedes seat when we were talking about, obviously, Hamilton's move to Ferrari. And over the last few weeks, you mentioned there Kimi Antonelli is seemingly shaping up as the initial favourite.
Yeah, I think if he wins F2, he'll be straight in.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only thing is, it is a bit bold to go for someone who hasn't even driven in F3, let alone F2. And then when you talk about being in Mercedes,
It worked for Verstappen.
Well, the
Yeah.
reason... Oh, come on.
Yeah, but it's a brand new spec of cars this year, which
Yeah.
is so everyone is on a level playing field. So I suppose that's why the risk was more viable. But I do want to backtrack slightly. I don't know how true the rumours are. They're probably not, but apparently the stakeholders at Aston Martin are actually starting to apply a fair amount of pressure to Lawrence Stroll over his son. I don't know how true the rumours are, but apparently there are rumours I've seen circulating on
So
that is on Twitter.
Mm.
But I think I've seen enough to be a little bit convinced that no, Lance Stroll might actually be under pressure for a seat this year.
Well, I could see Lance Stroll going to WEC and driving the Valkyrie, which I'm immensely jealous of him.
But
because
do
that
you
car's
want
cool.
to see Lance Stroll drive at night with
But I
slow
just-
cars?
As long as it's in the Valkyrie, I'll be happy because I love the Valkyrie.
Yes, but would you not rather see
How big,
Alonso in it?
how big are the mirrors are the question.
I think. Could you imagine Alonso going and doing it instead?
I think wasn't there rumours as well that Alonso could end up in that Mercedes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a
Which
strong.
I
there's quite
think
strong
could be a
rumours.
lot more.
he's the second choice.
I don't want to say plausible.
I think
but-
for one season before the new regs, I think it's
That's my thinking, and then you get Kimi Antonelli
with the brand new regs.
with the brand new racks.
Yeah. It makes sense.
It does make sense.
Because Ocon you can't put in for one season.
No. I think
more than one season.
But I think Ocon and kind of Gasly are kind of stuck. They've not
Alonso's
really
side,
got.
he'll want to be there for the new regs.
I don't.
But at this point, do you
I think the contract would be for Alonso. You have 1 year.
maybe 2, depending on how Antonelli.
He'll want to be there for the
develops.
new
yeah.
regs. Alonso.
Yeah, he might want to be, but Mercedes aren't going to hire them when you've got that
He
young
might
driver
want to
coming
go
through.
there.
But we don't know. Antonelli, he's still what, 17, which is a disturbing
Yeah.
thought initially.
Yeah.
He's very young, but he's 17. He might take more than 1 year in F2, especially
Yeah.
because he has skipped F3.
I mean, he was 4th fastest in his first testing session.
Yeah, it's I'm not saying
He's
it's-
incredibly fast.
I'm not saying it's looking bad. It's looking really good.
but there's obviously like every chance that he just gets.
Yeah.
It takes him 2 seasons.
Personally, for me, I think the most plausible is actually Alonso.
Yeah.
Well, Alonso and Russell, but Russell's not really got Russell is kind of shaping up for that number 1 spot.
The only one I could potentially see, if there is some conflict, I don't think it will happen, but if there is suddenly out of nowhere some big conflict within McLaren, I could see one of their drivers going. More so Piastri, I think.
Yeah.
Because Norris has just signed his new deal.
Yeah.
But if Piastri's not getting that opportunity, and Mercedes are like, well, George Russell, you've not had a good year when you've been our favourite driver. Maybe you're now our number 2, and we'll bring in Piastri.
Ooh. Well, according to Oscar Piastri, he's going to win the world title this year.
That was so good.
There was there's a clip
There was an
on he was
interview,
on
wasn't it?
a podcast, and it was like, would you not like to see a Lewis Hamilton 8th world title for the story? And then Piastri was like, there'll be a much better story than me winning my first world title.
Yeah.
I love the man. I do see that as a potential option. I think the conflict is kind of unlikely, though. For the time being, I think for this year. In 25, I think you can see it start to kick up a little. But
Yeah, I think this year,
For the
2
moment.
years is, yeah.
Okay, so Mercedes, Alonso and Antonelli, and potentially McLaren.
Yeah.
Red Bull.
Oh my god.
I'm not.
It's science, isn't it? Let's be honest.
I
It makes sense.
wouldn't.
But then there's also a lot of links with Ferrari. Not Ferrari, Audi.
Yeah, I don't think science has got links with
No,
Ferrari
I'm literally
anymore.
thinking because this is his last
Like-
season in Ferrari, but lucky he's got heavy links with Audi at the moment.
I don't get why he'd go there, though, if you have that Red Bull seat available.
I don't know. Would Red Bull want him?
They used to be teammates, they got on well.
They didn't get on well, but they did a massive in the
But then-
other options.
But then Red Bull, I think, probably would want to go for one of their own drivers because you got, yes, obviously, I think at the moment they are looking at Daniel Ricciardo, depending on how he performs this year. Obviously, I don't think Yuki Tsunoda will go into that seat.
Just put Liam Lawson in.
Yeah, that's what I.
But then, yeah.
Exactly what I was about to say. Lawson should be in the V carb. Is that what we call?
Yeah.
Right.
If
Call it
RB.
Toro Rosso.
if Daniel
RB.
Ricciardo gets a drive after the season, I will be genuinely disgusted at the management of that team.
Yeah, I mean,
Unless he's like really good, in which case I'll be like, you know what, fair enough. If he earns it, but if he's there just as a name and because he smiles, I'll be annoyed.
No, he'd have to be. I think personally, for me, it's between the 3 that are already in the Red Bull kind of outfit. It's between Tsunoda, Ricciardo, and Lawson. But I think Lawson is.
But I think if your Red Bull Science was in your driver academy,
I personally agree that science to Audi makes
well, it's where
more
his dad
sense.
is, isn't it? His dad's doing rallying with.
We'll just go to rallying.
Yeah, maybe he'll go win WRC and then come back. Do Kimmy?
Kimmy never won.
No,
he
I think
didn't.
his best was like 6th. But
But no, I think personally, at least, it's between one of those 3 drivers because I can't see them keeping Perez. I mean, he is a perfect teammate for Verstappen.
He's
But
not.
He's a perfect teammate for Verstappen, but not a perfect teammate for Red Bull. Because if they end up in an actual battle with one or more teams, so like...
But then he won't be Verstappen's perfect teammate because he'll just leave. Like, Verstappen will then be vulnerable.
I mean, I don't think Verstappen needs to rely on kind of Perez for...
Yeah, but in terms
to
of
be good.
strategy,
No.
I think closer you could do with
Yeah.
someone relatively
Yeah,
close
you think that-
behind rather than completely out of contention.
Bottas was never really competitive with Lewis, but he always was kind of ahead of that next team.
Yeah, apart from 2021. Really could have helped a bit more there.
I don't think you could.
No, they were on another level.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Red Bull. So Red Bull's up in the air. Ferrari is fine.
Yeah, well, they're set now
They're
for
set
2 years.
for, at least 2 years. Maybe more. We don't know. McLaren, I'd say, set as well, but maybe slightly less set, obviously, with the battles they could have. I mean, Alpine...
No one really wants either of their drivers.
No one wants to drive the car either.
No.
I mean, Alpine are a bit kind of up in the air.
Waiting for the new race.
I think RB, I think
That's a seat that you want. 'cause
Well, I
it's just
think
the old Red Bull.
I think the RB and the Red Bull are just. It will be 4 drivers. It will be the 4 drivers of Verstappen, Ricciardo, Lawson, and Tsunoda. It will just depend on who gets that second Red Bull seat. Stake or Kick or whatever they're going to be called.
Sauber.
Sauber.
I think just go with Sauber,
Yeah, I'll go with Sauber. I think Bottas might retire.
possibly. Yeah.
My issue with that then is do you trust Zhou Guanyu to help develop the car?
Not sure.
You got Teo Porcher, who I'd assume would.
Porcher would be the one that would go in.
I don't really see Joe staying past this season.
Yeah. I don't think they keep him on as the aging driver.
Well, maybe bring in Sainz then.
But yeah, that would be the one.
To be
Yeah.
fair.
I think if Sainz goes, you keep neither.
Yeah, I mean, Sainz and Porcher would be quite a cool
Yeah, that would be cool.
lineup. Who else have we got? Haas.
Behrman is prime candidate.
Has to be Behrman.
It's so scripted.
I think Hulkenberg and Behrman.
Yeah.
It's got to be.
Yeah, I can see that happening. I could also see Hulkenberg potentially if Sainz goes. I know Porcher's lined up, but Audi saying we want a German driver. Maybe Seb comes back.
Not Mick Schumacher.
Oh my god. Well, he's doing WEC for Alpine, funnily enough.
Fair.
Yeah, maybe he'll go to Alpine when. There's a weird connection between Alpine and Mercedes at the moment. Like you've got Ocon and Mick Schumacher are both there, both technically still with Mercedes kind of links, and it's kind of a bit.
The Germans and the French are aligning.
I don't know.
Doesn't normally happen, to be
No.
fair. I could see Hulkenberg and Behrman, and then Hulkenberg retiring in like 2 years or so.
When he finally gets a podium.
But I think Magnussen, this might be Magnussen's last year in F1.
Yeah. He'll be off to IndyCar probably.
Yeah. Oh, Magnussen in IndyCar.
With
that would
Ericsson.
be so good. Magnussen, Ericsson, and Grosjean.
You love to see it.
Mm.
You've got Lundgaard's over there, so you've got
What's that?
you got Lundgaard's there, so you've got some Danish drivers there already.
Yeah. Lundgaard's done well in
I like
IndyCar,
Lundgaard,
fairly. That's back almost.
Well,
as well.
Ilot's not there anymore though.
He's gone to McLaren. Is he not?
No.
Is he testing a McLaren?
Yeah, he's testing McLaren F1 car.
I thought he was testing a
I think
McLaren
he's doing-
IndyCar.
No, he's doing F1 car. I think he's doing WEC. I don't know who for. But I'm pretty sure he's doing WEC.
Who's this?
Fair enough.
Callum
Ilott.
Ilott.
Let me look it up quickly. Which other team? We've got Williams. I think Albon. Would Albon move? Or, I mean, Albon is another name that was kind of linked with the Mercedes. What's Ilott doing at the moment?
WEC, he's in WEC.
But he is testing them at Aaron McLaren, so you were right.
So the IndyCar. Albon, I think, would be another one that kind of linked to the Mercedes seat. Obviously, friends.
Yeah.
Grew up and raced with George Russell.
And you've got the James Vowles link.
Yeah.
But James Vowles has also said that he's not going anywhere.
True.
And they signed up for the end of 2025.
What, with Williams? I love James Vowles at Williams.
He's so good. I love the random like Instagram reels they make him do of like the electric like buzzer wire thing he had to do.
He's so great.
He's just like a normal person that's really competitive. He's like relatable.
No, he does seem really competitive as well. I could see Albon staying at Williams for.
I think until the new regs.
It kind of feels like Williams are actually on the path to a rebuild
Yes.
now.
I can see Williams doing what McLaren have done and being competitive.
Because they've been quite honest so far about the lack of facilities that they had compared to the rest of the teams. But they seem to be highlighting the progress that they've made.
Next year is their year that will kind of be okay. Now we need to.
We need a 2026 Williams that's similar to the 2014.
We want a Williams McLaren title battle in 2026.
What year is it? It's the 1990s all over again.
Yeah.
Sargent, I think, very much depends on how well he does this year.
Yeah. I don't particularly think he deserved another year. But
I think he deserved one more year. I think one.
He was quite unlucky at times.
Yeah, I think one and done sometimes is a bit harsh. He got unlucky in. I think the Zandvoort was a big one.
Yeah, where he just caught the grass. And
yeah, didn't he? He qualified well in Zandvoort.
He got
Crashed
10th.
in Q3.
Yeah,
It's his first Q3 appearance.
He crashed in Q3 though.
I think but then he.
They said
he
the
didn't.
crash in the race was caused by a technical issue though. So.
Yeah, there was power steering. I think failed
That was in the race.
during the race.
Yeah.
Q3.
Yeah. I think everything went wrong in Zandvoort for everyone.
No, I think it will very much depend on how he does this year. But for the moment, Sargent seems like he should be able to keep his spot if he does well.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Have we forgotten any teams? Trying to run through the grid now.
No, that's everyone.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, those are our kind of predictions for driver changes for 25. Do you think any of them happen during
I think the Red
year?
Bull one could.
Yeah.
If they're in a title fight and Perez isn't performing, I think Lawson just goes straight in.
You reckon?
Yeah.
Not Ricardo up?
Depends how he's doing. It depends on how both.
Depends how he's
If
doing,
Tsunoda's doing well,
yeah.
they'd probably put Tsunoda in as a trial half year.
Yeah. It's not a bad shout, actually. I think that one for me seems the most likely. All of the rest of them are very much kind of like
Depending on.
yeah. And Williams aren't going to get rid of Logan Sargent halfway through
No,
because that's just not what Williams do.
No.
Only Red Bull really do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Does work.
it occasionally works. Sometimes. Well, to be fair, last time they did it
What's Alex Albon?
was Alex Albon.
And he was unlucky.
Yeah.
He kept getting punted by Lewis.
Well, it's just because that Red Bull is very, like, Verstappen's driving style is very particular. So the Red Bull.
Well, but even then, he was still doing okay. It wasn't amazing, but he just every time he had a podium, Lewis would just send one up the inside.
Sounds like a skill issue.
Yeah, it
No.
was.
But speaking of Red Bulls, we're going to take a quick break now. And we're going to come back and talk about the liveries and the cars. And whether Red Bull might have done the funniest thing in F1
Ever.
in about 10 years. Yeah.
Since Crashgate.
Oh, it's not going to be good. But yeah, we're going to take a quick break now. Welcome back to the Warwick F1 show, and like we said before the break, we are going to be discussing all of the paint jobs and liveries, or I guess lack of paint on some of them. We'll kind of go through in order, give them kind of a rating out of 10, and we'll discuss to the best of our abilities the kind of engineering tricks that a few of the cars have gone for, especially probably the car that we'll end up talking about last. That being the Red Bull. So the Haas was the first car to debut. And personally for me, it looks really good. I'd say this is almost one of Haas's best car designs, the VF. It's the VF24. But yeah, this is one of Haas's best car designs, I think, that they've done for at least the last few years. And I'd seen it on the track, and it looks like it's black, and I know that will be a running theme as we come on to the rest of the cars. But personally, it just looks good for me. I don't know what you guys think.
No, I do like that. I do like that livery as well. I mean, to be fair, it's kind of I mean, Haas have had that's a livery ever since they came onto the scene anyway. So it's obviously seeing them with the whole red, white, and black livery is not something that's totally unexpected anyway. But yeah, they pulled it off. Some people like it, some people don't. I think I'm personally haven't seen nothing wrong with it. I'm personally a fan of it.
Well, I mean, they've changed it from last year. They've kind of got rid of the white front nose. It's now all black on all over the car. And yeah, I mean, what do you think?
I think it just looks really clean. I think I like the look from the front as well. I like that what a lot of F1 teams have done this year is have those stripes go out the side of the nose. So we'll talk about a few of them that have that later. But I think it looks really kind of refined. It looks the smartest a Haas car has for a while. Like, it looks like there's been effort put into it, not just we'll whack some black and white on and hope it looks okay.
I think the commitment kind of to the
brand.
Yeah, the brand. I mean, the black as well, with the red front wing. I think it's just a nice balance of all the colours. Personally, I'd give it an 8 out of 10. I mean, I don't know what you guys think, but I don't think you can make a Haas probably look much better than that.
No, I'd probably give it a 7. I just think.
Yeah, I'll stick with a 7.
Yeah.
Okay, so
my only concern is it does look like they have literally co-sponsors, and one of them is Chipotle.
nothing wrong.
Outside of MoneyGram, that is.
Chipotle is good. So
Chipotle, Play and Go, and MoneyGram. That's your 3 sponsors for Haas.
I mean, Haas have come out with saying that we're not going to have unrealistic expectations. I mean, their team principal has said they might be at the back of the grid, which probably isn't encouraging for sponsors, but hopefully for them, they can...
I think they're going to be back, Marcus.
Yeah, I mean, probably.
I think this year, realistically.
Yeah. I think probably, I'd say, last in the World Championship.
Their new team principal didn't really have enough time to...
No.
He's basically getting bullied by Gene House as well, let's be honest.
Yeah. Then our second car was the Williams. They have not actually run the car yet, which means they are cooking something either great or terrible.
Yeah.
But the blue, I mean, it's different from. It's kind of. Is it less blue than last year?
I think there's a lot of dark blue on it. It's basically all blue apart from Duracell.
Yeah, I do like the Duracell. I like the Duracell battery. It's quite novel. It's not my favourite. It's a bit kind of. It
reminds me of the McLaren a few years ago. It's like they've tried to do too much with it, and there's too many like random little patterns on it. Just a bit.
I'd say it's.
I can't lie. I find it boring.
It's a bit dull.
Look,
I'd say
the Martini livery.
It's worse than last year for me.
Yeah, it's nothing special. It's nothing that stands out.
I think the blue is too dark almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, Williams normally bring out a few liveries throughout the year, so I think...
Yeah, like 7 last year or something silly.
But yeah, it's not the most interesting. I'd probably give it a 5.
I think the best one is I believe they've got the team principal of Haas on their side pods.
It's their main big new sponsor.
Yeah.
I mean, it works out for them. It kind of gets. It's probably bad. I mean, it's bad for Haas, but it's out for Williams. I'd probably give it a 5. Like, a bit bland.
Yeah. I'll give more, probably a 5.5ish. Yeah.
And this was the point, I think, at which
there was a
concern. There was a lot of concern about the extent of carbon fibre on like paintwork or lack of paintwork on the cars, which wasn't entirely mitigated by the Sauber, which is the most lime green thing on the planet.
It looks like Flovis paint.
It does. Am I okay? I kind of don't mind it.
It's not my favourite, but it could have been.
The more I see it, the more I don't like it. I can't lie. I find it ghastly. Well,
there's certain angles I think it looks alright, and then you see it in person, and I'm like, ew. On the track, it just looks wrong. It blends in with the grass around Silverstone.
Does it? Wait, does it?
A little bit. With the black tarmac and then the green, if you get it the right angle, it just looks like it's part of the track.
Oh no, actually, the more I'm looking at it, the more I don't like. I like the green. I like the green tire covers. Or
I
wheel
like that
covers.
they've gone green, but it could have been so good. We think about like the iconic like monster liveries we've seen in other sports,
Yeah.
where that lime green and like black is used really well as contrast. Or even like the Mercedes a few years ago, the black one with Petronas.
It kind of just feels like they've also just chucked the green in weird places. There's no like.
Is it-
No, they've got a Harry Potter lightning bolt at
They
the back.
do.
They've gone for the lightning McQueen look.
This is the most fundamental. No, have you seen Bottas when it was announced? Everyone compared Bottas to Chick Hicks.
Yes, it is that colour.
4. Potentially, that's even high.
Yeah.
But-
Do you want
I'd
this
go like
reminds
a
me?
four.
This livery reminds me. It reminds me of what do you call it? The My Team career mode
Yes,
on
does.
F1. One of those default custom liveries you get when you start the game.
It just isn't that.
It's something I could have made.
Yeah. And my artistic talents are low. They are very low.
Yeah.
So it's not great.
It's like they've painted some parts and left the other bits in carbon fibre and then just assembled it.
Yeah. I'm going 4, which might be
I'm
might
gonna
be
go with a
generous.
3. I think it's my least favourite.
Okay. I don't know what is my least actually.
It's got to be that.
It might be the Alpine actually, which is next.
What?
What do you think? 4, 3, anything else?
I'll give it a 4.
4?
I'll go with a 5. I don't mind it.
Yeah, fair. It's unique.
It's different. It will
Is
stand
it-
out. It'll be spottable.
It's like when you call something unique, but that's not inherent. That's not entirely.
I kind of wish they'd inverted it so it was more green with the little bits of black. I think that would have looked quite good.
That would have looked good. Well, they haven't, and
No.
we're left with that. This is when it got bad. I think this was the low point for livery
But they
reveals
did at
this
least
year.
meme it a little bit.
Yeah, but then they didn't do what they did. They did do the carbon fibre meme, which was
Yeah.
quite funny.
Yeah. They teased it.
They teased pink,
Pink
camo.
camo.
This is my least favorite. Right, we're talking about the Alpine
Yeah.
before
Yeah.
we just like kind of stop referring to the car. This is my least favorite livery.
Yeah.
This is like a solid 2 for me.
I really like it.
Yeah. And I
think
mean,
it's good.
I feel like, well, these kind of comments, when we got the rest of the cars, they kind of went away. But do you think there needs to be like a paint allowance on a car?
Yes.
Yes.
You think-
There needs to be a
Yeah.
minimum
I think
percentage.
80% of the car should be covered.
Mm. I mean, how much?
My point is, if they painted it black,
Yeah.
people would have liked this livery.
Yeah, it feels lazy.
It is a little bit, but I think what they've done with it, with limited, I think looks nice.
Mm.
But I think if you'd had it, like I know this is obviously hypothetical and they hadn't, but I think the actual styling of what they have painted is really nice. I like.
Yeah,
the-
no. What is painted is good. It's just
They've not
that's about
painted enough.
10% of the body.
Yeah, it is lacking.
Mm. I personally think at least an X percentage of the car should have paint on it, because like,
We've seen 2 really good examples in Ferrari and Aston,
yeah, and they're gonna be quick. Well,
and they're the
Ferrari
ones that
should
they're
be.
like these are the top end teams, and they
Mm.
well the only 2 teams that won a car last year were the ones with the most paint.
Yeah, but I mean, how much does paint weigh? Like overall, was it
Not
about I
a
think
clue.
5 to 10 kilos? I want to say overall, which is
I don't know. I think it's something like I know. Remember Williams took about 30% of the paint off the car. It's like 350 grams.
Oh.
They're
not-
good. These will be like super lightweight paints as well.
yeah. Like, just mandate it, or just have like a paint weight. Like you've
Yeah.
got to have a kilo of paint on the car,
Yeah,
or just actually no, the
really
surface area.
thick paint on the rear wing.
Yeah, the surface area. I mean, is kind of
Surface
the
area
easiest way to do
coverage.
it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, for me, Alpine 2. I'm only giving it points because of the wheel covers being blue and pink, which is
I
quite
think
cool.
2 as well. I was really disappointed by it.
A
We
5.
lost one of
I'll go
our
for
more
3.
colourful cars from the grid.
Yeah,
Yeah, but the thing is, I didn't particularly like what they had last year with just the random pink side covers because BWT go into any team and ruin their livery instantly.
no, the 2019 and 2020.
The original
racing
To be
Alpine
fair,
was beautiful.
I'm less of a fan of the name of the car. They call it the A524, which just sounds like some random A road that you find in the middle of the Midlands.
Or just like the road from like Derby to Nottingham or something.
Not yeah. like Cheltenham to Gloucester.
I feel like this is just emblematic of Alpine, and that it's just got a lot more disappointing.
The A452's the road out from Leamington to campus. It does sound rather similar.
I mean, you think back to 2021 again, and no, but the blue Alpine that year was so incredible. Nice. And can we return to that? But yeah, Alpine probably my.
Their hypercar looks so nice.
Alpine hypercars, they've got the A in the rear.
Yeah, with like the nice proper blue with like the French flag. I'm like, yes.
I'm a sucker for when car companies do fun stuff with their rear lights. Like
when the Minis with the Union Jack.
Yeah, when they go like across. I'm a child at heart.
So you definitely like the Peugeot hypercar that had no rear wing last year.
Oh, that's so cool. That's why I like the Valkyrie. It's different. Cool and different. Right, this is when it started getting better again. The RB, or the V-Carb. It's actually called the V-Carb 01.
Yeah.
This is a throwback to what is genuinely my favourite livery ever in F1. The 2017 Toro Rosso.
Okay, it's not my favourite. It's a good livery.
It's not maybe not my favourite, but it's at least top 3 for me. The 2020 Mercedes is also up there, but this is a throwback to the old Toro Rosso days, and I am loving it. This is top 3 for me.
Yeah, it is good. I kind of wish that the white was silver.
Yeah, that's probably the only thing I'd change, and maybe a bit more red on places, but it's a good looking car.
It is. It looks really good.
No, I mean, what would you change?
There's nothing more to add. For me, it's an 8 out of 10.
I'd
agree.
If I gave the Haas an 8, I think I'd have to give this a 9.
8 out of 10. I could like it too.
It's better than the Haas, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's not in my top 3 on the grid.
Yeah. If they painted the wheel covers, might be a 10.
Actually, no. I'm happy with the wheel covers as they are.
I think it looks okay. I think there's too much going on the car if they then painted the wheel covers as well.
I see what you mean.
It's all the sponsors.
I think the front view looks really good. Kind of the blue and then having the white.
There are certain angles where I'm like, oh, it looks really good. And then there's others where I'm like, oh, it's not quite as...
Right. The Alpine. We've just done the Aston Martin. Same as last year.
Yeah.
Looks with some carbon fibre on the top of the sideboards.
I like the racing stripes. I don't know if they were... I don't think they were there to the extent that they were last year. Let me get
the lime green?
Yeah, the lime green stripes.
No.
But I mean, it's the same, but it still looks good.
It does.
I think it's slightly darker than last year, which looks quite nice. But that might just be the light. It's probably the lighting.
I like the rainbow ram cut at the back. I think it looks alright. Yeah,
nothing wrong with this. I'd probably give it an 8 out of 10 as well. I mean, it's hard to improve on an Aston Martin that kind of looks that good, and with Stroll and Alonso, hopefully they can kind of kick back to where they were at the start of last year.
Yeah,
I think it'll be more difficult this year, but we've got to wait.
I think everyone just wants a 5-team battle at the front.
It'd be so good.
10-team battle.
We need a 2012 back.
Yeah,
can't have a 10-team. Not even IndyCar gets a 10-team battle.
No, but like a 30. They get like a 20 driver fight.
Yeah, true. That's Formula E, where everyone can go into the final race realistically having a chance to win it.
13 race title decider.
Yeah. Right, the best car on the grid. This one. This is not an opinion. This is a fact. The Ferrari looks amazing.
It does. Everything about it is just perfect.
All of the issues I had with the last year's Ferrari looked good. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
but there was a tiny bit wrong with it.
There's the little black in the middle of the side.
Yeah, that weird box.
Yeah.
This year's has improved on everything, and it looks brilliant.
I love as well that they've put a little bit of red on the front wing.
Yes,
I think if it was all black, I'd be like, you know what, it looks okay. But I think the whole red looks so nice. I think the numbers look amazing.
The wheel covers being red.
Like the yellow and white. The race suits look great. It's just, I'm so. This is the best looking Ferrari since 2017.
Yes, I'd probably go with that.
And I think especially seeing the pictures from testing made me fall in love.
Yeah, it looks
more.
even better in person.
You know what I love? The red, the rear wing as well, having Ferrari on it is good.
Yes.
The rear wing having the red and black on it
looks so
is better. That red and black going from bottom to top, contrasting with the front rings, black on the bottom and red to the top, stand out. This car might end up growing on me as one of the best liveries of all time.
Yeah, I think.
And I feel comfortable with that.
I think under the lights it will look so good.
Yeah.
As well. I've seen a few memes though that someone compared like how they released it to how like the beginning of Cars.
I'm not. Yeah, it does look ever so slightly.
And from the top, the numbers look like it's written as 95. They got a 16 and a 55 on each side.
But this is a 10 for me.
Oh yeah.
I don't think you.
I'm slightly biased, but it just is.
I don't think you can improve this, personally. And that might be hyperbole, but I just don't.
No. I loved the Vegas livery, but I think it looks better than that.
Yeah. This, I think, I genuinely agree, it might be the best looking Ferrari since 2017. Yeah. Easy 10.
Yes.
11 out of 10.
11. If I could give it more, I would. Oh, even
the sponsors look good.
Even the white and yellow stripe on the front looks good.
Yeah. Let's be honest, Ferrari just have premium sponsors, don't they? Like,
what was it?
Ray-Ban.
The Shell logo looks amazing on it with the white and the yellow.
Santander, like they're just good. I mean, Santander's alright, but like Bang & Olufsen headphones just on like the side of your rear wing, like it's
Ferrari. It's cooking.
I mean, it's Ferrari.
Yeah.
It looks good on the track. Let's just hope it's quick.
Wow. Apparently, because normally you don't run the spec you first launch the car on. They're saying it's ahead of where they thought they'd be, so they're running it for the first 3 races.
They just want competition.
And they've got upgrades ready for Japan that are already further ahead than they thought they would be. And they're going to then be developing 2025.
For Lewis Hamilton?
Well, no, so they can then start 2026.
Oh.
Straight away. They've said that 80% of 2025 will be spent on 2026.
There is hope. Which
this year is our year.
Which automatically means it's going straight downhill.
It's going to be
how
7th.
They've gone for different suspensions everyone else though.
I think they changed a lot anyway though. Like they've gone away from their traditional engine covers and
I've just noticed
everything.
the triangle intake.
Yeah.
Oh, it's such a good looking car.
Yeah, they've gone away from their big cutouts in the and the side.
They've gone away from the kind of dish pods.
Yeah. They've proper cutouts.
Side
tailing
pods.
in the shoulders on the engine cover as well, similar to the last year's Mercedes.
Yeah. Other than the pit stop mishap in the
Yeah, but that was the admin's fault.
Yeah.
Oh, that was harsh.
I love that they admitted it though. Like, admin got so caught up by the beauty that they posted the wrong one.
I mean, as long as they didn't punish the guy, because it is just a mistake.
It's funny though, isn't it?
I
Good
think
traction. It's good media attention.
It gets more, yeah, exactly. It gets more attention on the car.
It looks so good from above as well.
It does. It looks good from every angle. Let's just hope we're looking at it as it comes
Who
around the
says a
final
car
corner.
cannot
No, I
art?
hope we never have to see it because it's that far in the lead.
Oh, that'd be so good.
Who says a car cannot be art?
Yeah.
Ferrari have proved that time and time again.
Yeah.
No, just Ferrari with their liveries, the car does, and I'm talking about normal cars in the last 10 years. It's unreal.
I just don't think it can be improved.
No.
It's a beautiful car. We could spend hours talking
I could
about
just look at it for hours.
This might be a car I end up with like a poster of it.
Yeah, this could be a lock screen.
Yeah. McLaren. They were earlier, but we'll talk about it again now. I like it.
It's the best they've had for a while.
Yeah.
It's definitely one of the most. It's definitely one of the cleanest liveries.
That is the thing, because there are a lot of sponsors on it, but it still kind of works.
It's the opposite of the Haas.
Yeah.
I think it's because, and I think what they've done this year because they got rid of the light blue. I think last year what did it for me was the light blue. They got rid of that light blue. They've just stuck to the black and papaya, and it's kind of got this. For me, despite all the sponsors on it, it does look clean. I like it.
I think the lines just work perfectly. I think.
Yeah, I think we've said about like. Oh, there was one of them earlier that was just like the Williams was too busy. Like there was no kind of definitive design, whereas it's very clear cut, very organised, which hopefully is a reflection of how their season will go.
Yeah, like everything goes somewhere.
Yes.
and is meant to go there.
I can't lie that the chrome wheels have actually grown on me as well.
Oh, I like that.
I'm just used to them now.
I think
Yeah.
they might. I think there was the novelty aspect of they were kind of the first team to do it. So
Yeah.
maybe now more teams are doing it and might go downhill.
No, one
do you think
Alfa
that's
Romeo
what-
the first two.
I think the
Yeah,
Chrome-
Alfa had the lovely wheel covers.
Yeah, I think when they're the first to
I
do
think
it.
they were the joint. They were joint.
No,
first
they
or
came in
something.
halfway through the season, I think. The
Did
Chrome
they?
ones. Yeah.
No, I saw there was that
Or was
launch.
it after testing or something?
Something like
It
that.
Yeah.
wasn't straight away.
But I like the Chrome ones. They're quite cool.
Yeah, quite clever.
I'd say solid 8.
Yeah.
I think it's not
Probably a
standout.
7. It's like on par with the Haas.
Yeah,
for me.
actually, yeah.
I'll give it an 8.
It's
I
not
like it.
standout like the Ferrari, but it's just solid. It works, and I think it'll be a good looking car on the track. Right, this Mercedes, I can't figure out if I like it or not.
I absolutely love it.
Do you?
It is really good.
I have said so many times on this podcast that I am not a massive Mercedes fan, but that car might be up there with the Ferrari for me. It like the gradient, the blue down the side, like the metallic effect of the silver. It takes me back to like the old West McLaren.
I'd almost want it to be a bit more silver. I think
No, I think they've got it right.
I think the silver nose kind of it's very abrupt in terms of the rest of the black. I get why people like it because it's a good looking car, but I just think there are ways it could be better for me. I don't know.
I don't know.
I can't tell
can
how
you
I feel
improve
about.
that? I don't know how.
It just looks like the 2000s McLarens.
It does. I think
And it looks so
honestly.
nice.
I think that is what I would change. I'd probably make the side pods a bit more silver.
No.
I like the because the Patronus is big enough that it kind of it's okay because it's a big white text.
Yeah. And if there's a team that makes the black livery their own, it's Mercedes.
And you've got, I think it will look better from different angles because you've got the stars at the back as well that are silver.
This is my favourite angle.
Yeah, I've got the same one, but I think as well, like, if you want more silver, like if you're looking from like the corners of the front, it looks amazing. But I think if you want more silver, like top down is perfect.
Yeah, I think it's quite a good contrast of when you'll see it facing forwards as to when you'll see it going around corners because you'll see, well, obviously the silver front.
Well, the side
and the black
pods
side.
on the top are silver.
Are they?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, it might be the angle I'm looking at.
So I think top down, it will just look silver
Mm,
with a bit of red.
yeah, I mean, I love the red Ineos intake.
It's really divisive.
No, the red intake.
do
is
like it.
cool.
I like the red intake as well.
I think everyone should like it.
I don't think Mercedes will ever top the 2020
No,
W11. I
that's
think
bad.
the W11 was genuinely one of the best looking F1 cars we've ever had. Because, I mean, it helped that it was also a rocket ship. But I think we could have had a silver W11.
I think the W11, well, it was originally silver.
Yeah, it was going to be silver before.
With the stars at the back. I think it looked better before. I think the reason everyone likes it is because A, it was a rocket ship, and B, it was the first black Mercedes.
Mm.
But I think this looks better.
I don't know. The W11
this just looks so
gives me
good.
like Darth Vader vibes and just how it would dominate the rest of the
yeah.
grid. It looks evil and I like it.
This just takes me back to like my early years of watching F1 though. Like, like Kimi coming up around the outside of Fisichella and Suzuka. It just looks like those old McLarens.
I think for me it's a 7. I think if it had a bit more silver on it, I think it could push it up quickly. I know, it's just... I just
As
feel
a
like...
Mercedes fan.
I feel like something's missing from it, and I don't know
A
what
driver.
it is. What?
Lewis's purple helmet.
Yeah. I hope...
I hope it's yellow, that would look sick.
Oh, no, I need the purple helmet back. Purple was always cooler.
Oh, he can go back to his yellow one at Ferrari though.
Ooh. Right, I'm going to give it a 7.
I'm going to go for a 9.5.
9.5. We're giving out half points now.
Well, I'll go for a 9 then.
Nah, 9.
Yeah.
We'll get a 9.5 is fine.
Yeah, I'm going for 9.5.
Yeah. James, you finishing off? What do you
I'll go
think?
with the 9.
9. I think I might be being harsh on it.
Yeah. You just really like the W11. You just think it's going to be a bad car. That's
Yeah,
probably why.
Right.
See it being a good car.
the final one. Okay, it's probably worth. It's Red Bull. It's the same livery as ever. Like,
well, we say this right. It is the same as last year, but they showed like the last 5 Red Bull liveries. They did change like 2 or 3 years ago. There was like it wasn't significant, but when you put them side by side, like there's more yellow.
yeah, but it's like, okay,
And
so
like less red like lines down the side.
so it's like when people grow up, and you like if you look at them 5 years apart, yeah, sure they look different, but like 1 year on year, we need some more difference. Yeah,
It's the sponsorship, isn't it?
I like it. It looks good.
It does.
But yeah, I mean, Red Bull has kind of been. It wasn't so much about how the car looks at the moment, and we are going to probably talk about some sensitive issues surrounding Christian Horner. So obviously, please be aware of that. But I mean, with the off-track issues that Christian Horner is currently facing, I guess the attention was kind of away from the car a little bit, and he is going to be in Bahrain with testing this week, so the attention will probably remain on them and the process. The disciplinary action that he's going through remains to be concluded, remains to be seen what, if any, punishments are handed out. But I mean, do you think that Horner kind of should have been there, especially with everything that he is and I guess Red Bull are facing at the moment?
It's hard to know without knowing what the allegations are.
We don't have very much in the way of detail.
No, and that
I mean,
is it.
remember they are only allegations.
Yeah, and
it is innocent until proven guilty. But obviously, we don't know the full nature of the allegations.
Yeah, and we'll
literally, the official thing is allegations of inappropriate behaviour towards a female colleague. That's all we know.
Yeah, and when the process is concluded, I'm sure we'll be able to say more.
Inappropriate and controlling behaviour.
Yeah.
Because, yes, obviously.
But we don't want to kind of speculate without all the information. So I'm sure when the process is realised, we will discuss this a bit more. But do you think that even with even with the allegations, do you think he should have maybe been there? And I mean, he's going to be at testing tomorrow.
It's a really funny one. It obviously depends on what the allegations are. I think if it's just that he's been quite aggressive and has just been quite loud, which I don't think it.
We don't know what it is.
We don't know. Then I have no issue with that. It's just like a management thing. But if it's something much more severe and much more serious, then it's we don't know what it is. That's kind of the key. It's like, it's hard to make any kind of this is right, this is wrong. I think the consequences entirely depend on what the actions were.
Yeah, and I mean, I think we'll have to wait and see. Yeah, kind of what happened with Red Bull. But moving back to the car in particular, not just the livery. I mean, we'll give the livery. Personally, it actually looks quite good.
They always look quite good.
Yeah, I'd probably give it a 7.
7,
yeah.
I like the side angle.
I really want them to go back to their old chrome, not chrome, but metallic.
I want the old purple, the early 2010 purple. Yeah, shame that car was horrific. Still won 3 races.
Overall, we got the front of the grid looking a lot nicer than the back of the grid.
That's true.
Yeah, that is good. But
weight saving versus we don't need to
weight saving versus we're too good. Well, maybe Red Bull are, because they appear to have
copied Mercedes.
Inversely
copied Mercedes.
So it's weird at the moment because the Red Bull doesn't seem to, at least from the show car they showed, I think it was a few days ago, it doesn't seem to have side pods, but in a different, they seem to be vertical slots instead of horizontal slots.
It has similar side pods to what it had at the moment, to what it had last year, but the development that they're going to have this zero side pod concept is going to come from Japan. It's kind of the leak, if you like.
And there's that bulge on the
big
intake,
shoulders, they've all copied it. So the Ferrari has it, the Aston has it, I think the McLaren has it, and the Mercedes doesn't have it.
They've
as
got
much.
a little bit, but yeah, it's not as much. The
Mercedes have gone away from it, funnily enough.
It's gonna go badly. But yeah, Red Bull are moving towards a zero-pod strategy, seemingly vindicating a number of people who said, wouldn't it be really funny if halfway through the season, we were all talking about it kind of around like Hungary. It's because it's when Newey was just looking at the W13 on the memes of like, I can fix you. But he appears to actually have tried to.
Well, it's apparently it's going to be an even more extreme version.
I'm not saying I want it to go wrong, because that would be a lot of time and money.
I would love it if they win
wasted.
the first 3 races, make the change, a dreadful for one race, and then just feel like, no. And just do what Mercedes should have done and just abandoned it.
Do you reckon they've done it because they know their 2023 Red Bull could probably still compete at the front?
Well, the one they've designed at the moment works, because realistically it's air intake and airflow predominantly. It doesn't change the internal workings.
Well, they've kind of done what F1 teams used to do, where they brought out the old car for the first 3 races, then brought in the new one at like race 4 or something. It's like an early 2000s thing. If it works, I will be very impressed and simultaneously very depressed.
If that happens, Adrian Newey should be shared amongst all teams.
Yes.
Adrian Newey should be put in the F1 Hall of Fame.
Yes. He needs to be cryogenically frozen. Or put onto something more useful.
Download his brain.
Just
download his brain. I'm pretty sure Elon Musk has started his brain
Neuralink.
Oh, wonderful.
If it works, he's already like the goated F1 designer, I think.
He may be the most influential man in F1 history if it works.
Yeah.
I think you're kind of what he is.
I'm so scared that it's going to work.
I really want it to.
No, but the thing is...
I don't for the sake of the season.
Thing is, if it works, it will work. It will... Because Mercedes were really confident about their concept.
Mercedes were rapid in slipstreaming. Like, behind anyone. They had, it just went off them. Like, the turbulent air didn't affect them.
I just worry they're going to be, turn up, 2 seconds a lap faster than anyone else.
We're in
no one's going to be able to catch them until 2026 then.
My issue is, I'm concerned the cars are going to look weird. They're not going to look like these massive specimens we're used to.
Well, then, what do you mean?
After the season, they're not going to have the big side pods. It will just be... it'll be basically the really old ones. It was front wing, engine cover, rear wing, wheels really exposed.
Yeah. I mean, having looked back at the W13, it's a horrific looking... It's just a splodge. It's like someone's
no
dropped
design.
something.
It's like they've just melted it over the engine cover.
Yeah. I'm really concerned that it'll work. I hope it doesn't, but...
I hope it does, but not that well.
Yeah.
I hope it works, but not to the same level as their current design.
I hope it works at different tracks. I hope, the Ferrari's good somewhere, but
no,
the Red
imagine if
Bull's
Red Bull
good
sod it, we'll just use different engine covers at different races.
Fair enough. Oh, we're actually in so much trouble.
That's what you think?
That's fine. Well, we'll find out at testing tomorrow when Red Bull rock up and break every lap record in existence. Yeah. But no, I think overall, the grid wasn't looking good up until about Alpine. But I think we've actually got some decent looking cars this year.
Yeah, we've got some good cars, some potentially good racing. I'm optimistic for the season ahead.
No, I am as well. I mean, overall rating for the grid, what do we think? I'm going to give it a...
What, drivers or cars?
No, just cars. I think a 7.
Like an 8. Like the front, we would care about.
I think the front is good, which is
the front is the best looking it's been for a long time.
Yeah, I mean...
Since
7,
since the Lotus was at the front.
I mean, the best car that I think will look bad will probably be the... I don't know.
Alpine, probably.
Yeah, the ones that look bad for me are the Alpine and the Stake, and then maybe the Williams.
But they'd all be at the back.
Yeah.
Apart from maybe the Williams. I think the Williams could look good on track.
Yeah.
Once it has 8 special liveries on it every time.
But no, I think there's optimism. I'd probably go, 8, 7. But something like that. Right, we're going to take another break. And then we're going to come back and we'll talk F1 Fantasy. Welcome back to the Warwick F1 show here on Raw 12:51 AM. So, we're now going to talk about F1 Fantasy, back for another year. Has always been something I've paid attention to for at least half the year, until I then forget to change my team on a Saturday, and then tend to fall off a little bit. But no, the prices have come out. Max Verstappen, the most expensive driver, at 30 million. That's a third. That's almost a third of your budget going on one driver, and he's still got 45% selection. It's insane.
Because it's Max Verstappen.
He's more expensive than the team, Red Bull. Which I feel like maybe says something about.
But he's worth more than the team.
Yeah, I can't.
Because Red Bull is going to get more points than Verstappen, because by definition Red Bull is Verstappen plus
But then
Perez.
they could lose Perez points.
Yeah, but he's not going to get a negative point.
I don't think they get the same points as the drivers.
Yeah, I think it's
It's slightly
The system
different.
has
Slightly
changed a bit
different
recently,
structure.
So I think that it is worthwhile having better drivers and teams.
Then we've got number 2, Lando Norris, second on 23 million. I think.
But he did get, from Austria onwards, he got the most points of anyone.
That's a lot of
Verstappen
faith in
last
that
season.
McLaren.
That is a lot of faith in the McLaren,
Championship,
though.
but yeah.
I would have thought Perez, if you trust the Red Bull.
Perez 8% at 20.8.
Early season Perez can
Yeah.
be dangerous.
I kept Perez in for far too long
Yes,
last year.
but I'm not sure the calendar's as favourable to him this year at the start as last
I think-
year. Baku's now September.
I think his
That's
issue
what
was he
he's
just
struggling
lost his confidence straight
Mm.
away, and the fact it was only him against Max kind of made it hard.
Yeah.
Whereas you look at the year before, he was kind of consistent throughout because he had that competitive. He had a fight
The
the whole way
last
through.
2 years, he did have quite a good start to the season when he got himself into thinking that he could win the world championship, and when that fell apart, he really spiraled downwards. He needs to avoid doing the same again this year.
I mean, we've got a load of drivers kind of around that 20 to 18 million mark. It's basically the rest of the, I guess, big three. Four. Big four.
How much is Piastri?
Piastri is 19, which I think is high. I
don't
think
know.
it's high early on. I think
I
that could
don't-
end up being worthwhile.
I don't know because I think he's one of those drivers that he's had that year now. He's kind of familiar with the tracks now. He knows how to learn them.
But he is also 0.1 less than Leclerc, and I think that's
No, but I think he's significantly less than his teammate.
yeah.
So if you put in faith
4
in the
million.
car, which you ultimately are for Lando Norris,
Yeah, I think Leclerc at 19.1 could be
Is
a
a steal.
steal.
especially early in the
He
season.
would probably be someone I put in. Thing is, you can kind of only do Verstappen
And one.
and maybe one, but then your teams are going to be not great.
How much do you get?
You get 100 million, and Verstappen takes 30 of that. That's high for Verstappen.
That's what, 5 drivers in a team?
Yeah, 2 teams.
Oh, jeez.
So you'd be picking 4 drivers and 2 teams with 70 million.
So you'll be loading up with Hulkenberg, Albon.
Well, yeah, you could only average 12-ish
Yeah.
million.
Or 10 if you had Leclerc and Verstappen.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of compromises made if you want to put Verstappen in your team, I think.
But it's
Yeah.
probably worth it. Let's be honest.
Outside of that, George Russell was 18.8 million. It's the worst deal.
Is he worth more than Lewis?
No, Lewis is
I
19.3.
was going to say.
I don't think either Mercedes. It's a value for money there. Sainz 18.5.
That's not bad.
Alonso 15.8.
I'd probably buy Aston instead.
Yeah. 2 drivers who I think are very good value. Danny Rick and Yuki Tsunoda.
Yuki Tsunoda.
9 and 8
Yeah, they're
Yuki's
respectively.
8.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm
Sounds
picking
like
Yuki
good
over Danny
value.
Rick. Oh, yeah.
Danny Rick's got 45% pick at the moment. Yuki is
'cause
on
he smiles.
24.
It's because he smiles.
Yes. I think either of them could be good, especially if that we predict kind of the RB is quick. Because it's last year's Red Bull.
I think it will be fighting with Alpine.
Well, speaking of Alpine, both
Okay.
drivers are on 7.8 million. But Gasly...
That sums up their team, that they're both just the same. They are the same
Gasly
person.
has
Gasly was a bit better than last
49%.
season.
I'd
selection.
pick Gasly over Ocon.
Well, most people have, because Ocon's got 17.8. Oh, Ocon's got 17.
They're kind of in that middle weird range of price though.
And then we get down to the rest of the grid, probably your bench fillers, kind of.
Yeah.
Albon at 7 is... I'd say that's...
Because you get points for beating your teammate, which he will do regularly.
But you do lose points for losing positions in the race, which Albon consistently does because he qualifies so well.
This is true.
Albon at 7 I think is good. Zhou and Bottas 6.6 and 6.4. You're kind of getting artificially high ownership because people can't afford anything else. Then you got Hulkenberg.
Hulkenberg I'd take a shot on.
Hulk and Magnussen 6.4 and 6.2, and then Logan Sargent is the cheapest driver at 5.5, which
he makes up positions, but he does crash.
I would maybe consider him, to be fair. Cheap, makes up positions. If he has improved, then I think there's potential there.
I'd want to see. He'd be like maybe in Japan. I'd make a change.
I think he'd probably be in my initial squad just to see. Right, the constructors, Red Bull obviously the most expensive, 27.9, McLaren 23.2, Mercedes 20.1, Ferrari at 19.3. Yeah, that I would.
You what?
I know. I might go for that.
Yeah.
A Leclerc Ferrari combo for. So if you put in Leclerc and Ferrari, it would cost about 38.
So you can get those for less, like 8 mil more than Verstappen.
I'd probably do that.
How were they worth less than Mercedes? I know they were below them in the constructors, but the second half of last year they were constantly better.
I will be waiting to see how testing goes to make it before I make this team, and then probably waiting another week until the day before and realise, I've got to make a team. But that's not a bad shout. Then you've got also Ferrari plus RB at 8.5.
That's good. But the thing is, I would be more likely to buy Leclerc and take Mercedes, because I think I wouldn't know what Mercedes driver to pick, but I feel like one of them each week will do well. And they tend to have good race pace.
That's a shout. Let me do that quick. I'm going to make a quick team and see. This will probably definitely change, but I'm going to make a team and see what happens.
While you say that, the one thing I have seen about Ferrari, which could kind of come into this, is that they've focused more on race pace this year. So they've kind of gone away from their, we want to be rapid in quali and destroy our tyres.
That's better for fantasy points as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, put in. No, I can't put. If I've got Sargent, I can't put in Albon. But I'm going to put in Danny Rick. I know you don't like.
You can have the better driver for 1 mil less.
Yeah. Then I've got 38 million for. What I've done is I've got Mercedes, RB, Leclerc, Sargent, Tsunoda, and I've got 2 left for 38 million.
We can have Verstappen.
Yeah, I think Verstappen here. I got 8.8 million left. Oh, then
That's a Hulkenberg.
I could go. No, I can even go for one of the Alpines.
Oh yeah, go for Gasly.
Yeah, go for Gasly. And it's not a bad team actually. So I just chucked one together. I've got Leclerc, Sargent, Tsunoda, Verstappen, Gasly, Mercedes, RB, and then spent 99 million.
Okay.
It's not bad.
No.
Take that. I think that will be very close to kind of the blueprint.
The average. Yeah. I think you might see a few Alonsos.
I think, Alonso's...
On the basis that he will make up positions and he will beat his teammate.
I think a lot of these ownership figures are going to change in the next week.
Yeah, they will. I mean, it's
when
very
Alpine
early days.
fastest.
We haven't even had testing yet. It's very early days.
Well, that was the problem with the game last year, was that at least early on, the Red Bulls were good.
Both Red Bulls, importantly.
Yeah, both Red Bulls were good.
Science was dreadful.
No, it was mainly that both Red Bulls were good. So you went double Red Bull.
Yeah.
But then the Aston Martins were really cheap.
Yes,
so you just
Alonso
went double Aston Martin. So the only variation.
You had Stroll. I didn't put Stroll.
I put Stroll in.
I think I put Leclerc in.
But I mean, then you ended up kind of at the end with everyone.
Well, you had like one of the Hasses or one of the Williams.
Yeah. So everyone
who were like cheap and would do okay.
So everyone had the same team. So almost the game gets worse if a cheap team is good.
Not even that. The game gets worse throughout the year because everyone. It's like fantasy football.
Yeah.
But
There's
even more predictable.
Problem is, he gets set on one team, and and there's never really much for anyone to change it. You're like finished with your
I think
after a
if you
few
compare-
races, your
yeah.
team's settled in, and there's not really much. They never need to change it.
I
think it's-
don't think there's enough there can never be enough
Yeah.
variation.
Yeah, the thing is, you've only got 20 drivers and 10 teams. It was like fancy football. You got 20 teams and hundreds and hundreds of players.
I know.
But I like the there's a lot of chips. to
I
use
would
as
quite
well.
like if they'd done it so you had to, out of your 5 drivers and teams, you had to pick 2 drivers in a team for qualifying and the other 3 for the race or something.
Oh, constructors get points for a fastest pit stop. Did not realise that.
No.
Well, bring in Red Bull. Yeah, guaranteed.
McLaren.
point. That's a good point, actually. Fastest pit stop 1.8 with those tyres is
Ridiculous.
actually ridiculous.
Jacked men.
So obviously I put together a team that I'm pretty sure has now just been deleted because I exited the page. Yep, that's all right. I'm sure that was never going to stay my team because I need to see what it's
Testing.
like for testing. But we, the Warwick F1 Society, have your own league,
We do.
don't you? Any
Yeah.
prizes or just for bragging rights?
We'll see, because obviously there will be the change in exec throughout the season. So
As a
we'll be-
personal request, can you bring back your post where you do the rankings for every week?
Yeah, well, it'll be up to kind of the new exec. So if you're interested in that and you want to keep doing it, then make sure to come to our
If you
elections
want-
in a
if you
few
want
weeks.
my vote.
Well, no, not a few weeks. It's next week.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, if you want
This
my
time
vote
next
in
week.
particular, then
Will you be attending the elections?
What day are they?
Tuesday.
Yes, it's next Tuesday.
What time?
5.
I think it's 5.
I can
I don't know. I
attend
don't
a
know.
little
I don't know
bit.
if we submitted the official.
Mm.
Well, it'll be by the time
Yeah.
we submitted.
But if you do want any of the details, they're all on the Warwick F1.
Instagram and Facebook, I believe, as well.
Mm. And yeah, that's kind of brought us to the end of the show. We are so close to F1.
I can
I can
feel
taste it.
Yeah.
I can smell it.
Mm.
What do F1 cars smell like? Do they smell like petrol? Do they?
Well,
the
it seems
best.
to.
The best smell.
Is it?
I love the smell of the smell of like race cars burning fuel. It's really bad for the environment.
That's
Oh
so
my
right.
god, it smells so good. Brings me such joy.
Yeah. So we have testing this week, and we'll be back. We'll be back next week and talk about obviously everything that happened.
We'll do
kind
a testing review, barring preview, and then our prediction start for the year.
Will Biddles enters the prediction game.
Finally.
Yes.
Yeah, we are going to change the kind of
format.
rules a little bit. I don't think a snake works anymore with
No.
three
Oh,
teams.
yes. Who's going to be that 9th driver to get on the podium?
But yeah, we're probably
up with
going to
something.
end up with a top 5. But obviously, we can all take.
Or we could do like a podium where do a snake for the top 3 and they can't be used again or something.
Yeah. We'll come up with all
something.
sorts of rules, but we'll keep the classic 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah,
I think it's a good idea, if I do say so myself.
it is.
Yeah. Anything else want to add? Any final comments?
Well, testing tomorrow.
Yep. Oh, and remember, the race is on a Saturday.
Yeah,
Yes.
Saturday. What's the time? Is it 4
Yeah.
o'clock?
And where can they watch it?
The
Clarendon.
Clarendon.
Yes. Oh, that's a busy day. There's a lot going on that day.
Saturday.
Saturday, we've got football.
Yeah.
As
Yes.
ever.
Probably 6 Nations.
6 Nations. No, it won't be.
Oh, is it the week off?
Yeah, it's the week off.
Oh, yeah, because they do 2, 1,
3
2.
o'clock Saturday. Saturday, 3 o'clock.
Oh, great. Oh, well, there won't be football on
No.
Saturday.
Blackout.
Fine.
Well,
Beautiful.
join us in the
Going to be lots
Clarendon.
of people at the Clarendon. The first race of the season will be busy.
If I really,
Get the discounts in.
I don't want any team to be dominant, but I particularly don't want Red Bull to be.
Quali is 4 o'clock on Friday.
Give me some dominance from Ferrari.
Oh, it's 4 o'clock. I've got a seminar 4 o'clock on Friday.
I've got a day off.
Hi. Right, yeah. So, I've been Will. Joined as ever, my Chinmay and other Will.
Yeah.
Just Will and Will. It doesn't make any
The
sense.
other Will.
The other Will. Yeah, but when
Bit
you
of willpower.
when you host, I'm the other Will. How about that?
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, and joined once again by James as
Thank
a
you.
guest. And yeah, thank you for listening.